Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Premodern at the request of Patreon subscriber Peter, and this is Mono Red. If you watched my previous run of Premodern, you may have noticed that the last time I played it, I said it would probably be the last time unless Magic Online decided to keep it forever. Well, guess what's happened? Premodern is now officially going to be a supported format on Magic Online moving forward. The trial run was successful enough that they're going to give it its own league play in the specialty lobby. And that means I have updated the types of formats that I'm willing to play on the channel to just blanket include Premodern. I have this one plus a few other ones already submitted, and if you're out there and you're a Premodern fan and you want to see me play your deck, that is now a thing that I do. As for today, look at this deck. These are the cards we're going to play, and we're going to play 4 of all of them. This is a classic red deck wins burn deck that your job is to deal 20 damage. And with the tools that we have to do it, you have to be really efficient about all your decisions. When do you attack with a Grim Lavamancer versus activate it? When do you bolt a creature versus go face? All of these decisions matter a lot. We have to play a suite of creatures from Tempest that I love. We love Tempest, and Mog Fanatic and Jackal Pup definitely sparked joy from when I was a child, which is the point of Premodern. I don't have a whole lot to say about this. This is Mono Red. Let's do it. Buffalo Chicken Dip Legacy is back with 2 events already on the calendar in 2026. The first is Saturday, February 14th in Columbus, Ohio. The second is Sunday, February 22nd in Houston, Texas. Both events have a 64-player cap with guaranteed dual land prizes that scale with attendance. These events are posted for registration on spicerack.gg. Follow Buffalo Chicken Dip Legacy on SpiceRack or click the links in my video description to sign up for these events. Keep an eye on Buffalo Chicken Dip on SpiceRack. The second half of this year, they're looking to expand their tournament offerings outside of the normal Columbus and Houston locations in the Buffalo Chicken Dip Legacy Tour. That's coming later this year, but these events are live now. Go to the links in the video description and sign up. I'm on the play in round 1. I'm going to keep my hand. I've got some creatures and some spells. Grim Lavamancer is a creature that also kind of feels like a spell. And I think generally speaking, you're just supposed to fetch if you can in this deck. The fetch lands are really only in the deck to fuel Grim Lavamancer, and then whatever benefit you get from thinning. Underground River. I hope you like taking 1 when you play spells. Okay, we've already got a decision to make where I could just cast Flame Rift and attack, or I could hold up Incinerate, or I could play Mog Fanatic. I think I want to Rift right now. If they have Force Spike, which I think is the only thing they could have, it will take a damage for them to cast that. And then starting next turn, the mana leaks and the counter spells and all that wake up. A second Underground River. You love to see it if you're me, the sicko burn player. Hey, I'm going to play Mog Fanatic here. And got a little bit of counting to do. I think I'm just going to attack with Grim Lavamancer and go for End Step Incinerate and plan to light them up next turn. It took a damage to play an Accumulated Knowledge. Man, I've been on the other side of this one enough to know how bad that feels. A Swamp. Now not every spell hurts them, just the blue ones. Alright, Dr. Teeth. There it is. It's time to inflict the remaining 12 damage to my opponent before I get togged. Incinerate your stinky face. Oh, that was a bad draw. So I've got 2, 6, 7 damage here. I have to survive this turn, and I need Fire Blast to resolve, which means I think it's time to just send this upstairs while they're tapped out. They would have to have foil to do this. Okay, they're at 5. Unfortunately, I don't have another spell. I need Grim Lavamancer to survive this turn cycle and or draw another burn spell. Smothering my Fanatic, okay. 1 to you. It seems that they're trying to force a block with Grim Lavamancer. That doesn't... Does that make any sense? Okay, so 6 cards in hand. That makes Tog 7. And then exile the 8 cards from the graveyard. That makes Tog 11. And I just can't afford to block with this Lavamancer, so whatever happens here happens. Opt taking 1 to do it. Alright. That's half a damage, because the Opt replaces itself in hand and it's a card in the graveyard. They can't gush with these lands. Discarding Daze, Foil, River. I've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 here. I don't see it for you, but boy, are they doing it. Okay, you have an 11, 12. I'm at 3, and you are dead on board. Okay, here we go. I should look at all these cards that they played, since they decided to show them to me. Yeah, the old Gush, Daze, double Underground River, triple Underground River setup. Good stuff. Okay, Psychotog. Price of Progress can do a lot of damage, but they are a deck that plays enough islands to support Daze and Gush, and they just kind of ate shit on that particular setup they had. This is a bunch of artifact removal. Like, all 6 of these cards are just artifact removal. Mishra's Factory could get sweaty under counterspells if I need to do that sort of thing. I don't think I'm making huge changes here. And I almost died there to my own Flame Rift plus fetch lands. I was at 14 when their Tog took its big swing, even though my opponent had dealt 0 damage to me. But Flame Rift is still the best output of damage you can get for your money. I'm kind of interested in working this factory in, but am I cutting like a shock for that? Or Seal of Fire? Because that's... Seal of Fire is shock that doesn't come as a surprise, but it's shock that you can spend mana on before you're necessarily ready to shock. Little pro and con here. These are the weakest damage output. I kind of like the ability to invest in a shock ahead of time against this counterspell deck. I think that's all I'm going to do. I don't have any Pyroblast or anything that could actually fight in a Tog. Okay, I'll keep this. Fewer creatures than I'd hoped for, but it does have Lavamancer. Oh, Bad River. We've got a fetch land in the chat. Included Delta's legal, you know. Lava Dad, get in there. Yeah, we'll see if this factory plan kicks in. I don't think every build of Mono Red plays it, but Peter, when he sent me this list, specifically called out the factories as interesting tech that he likes. Duress. All right, well, I'm losing Lightning Bolt. They fetch that basic island. The Rift. I think I want to develop Seal of Fire and Factory rather than play Rift here. Enforce Spike is the only meaningful interaction showing. I mean, Hydroblast is a card they could play, but that counters or kills anything except these factories. All right, yep, easy. Turn 3, Psychotog. This is a very different thing than the previous game where they were way behind when this showed up. Okay. Inflicting damage to Psychotog seems like a mistake, but I'll at least do the math. If I seal it, they discard 1 card and have 3 left. And then, or they could just exile from the graveyard and keep their hand. How much damage can I do to this turn? It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could hit Psychotog for 7. There's 3 toughness showing with the graveyard, plus another 4. That's 7 toughness. They'd have to discard 2 cards to save Psychotog this turn. It would cost me 7 damage going upstairs. But I do have Grim Lavamancer going. And I'm going to try to fight the Tog. If they have Gush in hand, there's no way this ever works. But it's not going to work anyway, but I'm trying to get it to a spot where at least the thing doesn't kill me on the backswing. I guess that's the other math to do. They have 8 on the backswing right now. Alright, I changed my mind. I think I'm just going to Flame Rift and try to actually win this game. Alright, pass the turn. I should fetch first. In case they have a removal spell, I want to at least make sure I can tap Grim Lavamancer on the way out. There was a Gush, okay. There are some Tormod's Crypts in my sideboard that I could use to mess with the size of Psychotog, but it doesn't matter on the turn they're pushing. Alright, well, only one thing to do here. Alright, am I dead? This is 8, 9, 10. I think I'm exactly dead. Accumulated knowledge. Yeah, they can attack me for 15 here. I need them to either mess up somehow. And even playing a land drop, I think they could still get me for the 14 I have. Yeah, they didn't even play the land drop, so I think they've done the math and they know what's going on. I will at least wait until they show me the 7 cards in their hand. Okay, Annul and Hydroblast, 2 sideboard cards we know about. Shadow Mage Infiltrator, backup threat, and a reasonable blocker. Okay, I actually did the math wrong. They were attacking for exactly 14, not 15. So if I hadn't rifted, I would have survived this turn. but also my alternative was dedicating my whole hand to not kill Psychotog. Okay. I still don't think there's necessarily a better plan here. I don't really have faith in Tormod script to do anything. There's no Pyroblasts, and obviously deck building decisions are, you can adjust for what you need. Like, you could just have 4 Pyroblasts in your sideboard if there's a ton of Psychotog in your meta. This list has none. And I'm not an expert in the mono red versus Psychotog matchup, so maybe there are no Pyroblasts because you simply don't need them, and you're supposed to run them over. I don't know. Oh no, 1 land. This hand spirals apart very quickly if I don't hit that second land. There's exactly 20 lands in here. Or there's 21 because I boarded in a factory. Yuck. And Jackal Pup is one of the better cards that I can lead on. I'm going to mulligan. God, that hurts. All right. Hand looks good, though. I'll bottom a mountain. The opponent mulliganed as well. We take those. And this deck, this pre-modern mono red deck of ours, plays by the philosophy of fire, which is not fire design. That's a different thing. But the philosophy of fire is an old Magic philosophy where when you play against burn, basically what you have to do is multiply the number of cards in their hand by 3 and then subtract that from your life total and play as if your life total is that. Like the 3 cards in my hand, my opponent has to presume they each deal 3 damage and their life total's 10. And they have to think about, I'm at 10, not I'm at 19. And that's how they build a strategy and make their tactical decisions to navigate what I'm doing on the board, as if they're at 10, not as if they're at 19. Burn spells have become kind of different over the years. There's a lot more that deal 4 instead of 3, and there's a lot more creatures like Goblin Guides and stuff that change those sort of calculations. But back in the day, it was a pretty reliable way to frame how you're going to play Magic. Okay, do they want the Incinerate because it deals more of the shock because it's more efficient? It's actually a decision. But to finish that thought I was having, when a deck like this mulligans, your opponent functionally gains 3 life if we are following the philosophy of fire. Another Wood Foothills, just what I wanted. I'm going to fire up Factory and use it. Yeah, Factory is also additional blockers for Tog if we do get into that tempo situation where I'm trying to not get one-shot and you're trying to one-shot me. There he is, right on time. I'll go face with the Lavamancer. A second Factory is a little bit interesting. Tog can be 8-9 right now. If I attack with a Factory, I can buff it with the other Factory. They have to discard 1 card to survive, 2 cards to win. Then Fanatic can get involved, and I can't Incinerate and Lavamance. All right, I'm going to activate this. Play another one. And I'm just going to try to push damage here. I'm at 18. I don't think they're going to win on the backswing, but if I could start a showdown, I'll take it. Target assembly worker gets +1/+1. Yeah, so this will cost them a card in their hand, plus the 2 cards in their graveyard. Then I'm going to deal 1 to this with Fanatic, cost them another card. And then I have a Lavamancer activation, and I'm going to try to leave them squirming over there. Okay, activate Lavamancer. I have sunk a bunch of resources into trying to make Psychotog worse. Let's hope this does what it's supposed to do. Discarded for Spike. There is still an activation on the stack. Tog's going to be 6 toughness at the end of this, which means they need to find 1 more toughness. Okay. Wow, discarding the hand rather than exiling from graveyard. Like, they could have kept that Force Spike over there. Oh, they made it bigger than they had to. Okay, I think they lost track of this activation. Yeah, they made a 7-8 when a 6-7 would have done it. Oh, God. All right, cool. We got 1 extra card out of that exchange. And now Psychotog is kind of a wuss. It's really if they can get a draw engine going or not. Ooh. Big money. Bang. Sulfuric Vortex. This is one of my bangers. They would need Mana Leak or, I guess, Circular Logic to counter that. All right, here we go. Clock's ticking for real. Spending my Factory and my Mog Fanatic last turn resulted in answering Duress, Counterspell, Annul, Force Spike, and Counterspell while saving me 6 or 7 damage. That's a pretty good rate exchange if I'm out here trying to puzzle together how any of this works. And Tog can still have a giant burst of activity. Activate Factory. And I think I should leave Lavamancer back to block, even though I don't think I'm going to have 2 cards in the graveyard to activate it with. And I'm going to go with Fanatic, even though it's not mana efficient, because really my job right now is not getting hit with Tog. I just have to hold out for 2 more turns, maybe 1. We got the GGs. These were GGs. That was fun to navigate. Mono Red's not normally in my speed, but it is cool when the game becomes about something else, where it's not just me flinging my spells and hoping they're dead, but we have to actually think about a combat object with the spells that I would like to be killing them with. Pretty sweet. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2 with a Jackal Pup. Let's go. Child Brian doing backflips in the yard. Child Brian could never do a backflip. Let's be serious. Neither could Adult Brian. That's not in my range. All right, we're straight up jacking it. A Swamp. Vendetta. All right. Still took damage. Scoreboard. Factory. Rift. Let's rip it off. I'd rather not get Duress this turn. Sad. All right, well, now my squad just got a lot slower. Okay. I'll Seal of Fire and Mog Fanatic are coming out. I was going to attack with Factory and buff it. Or no, I was going to play Seal of Fire and attack with Factory without a buff, but I was going to play the second Factory. But this plays around Duress better. And Vendetta. There's not a lot of 1-mana black removal spells that get it done. You know my hand is Mishra's Factory. Why are you Duressing me? Settle down. Okay, blue. I don't need spells where I'm going. Ooh, that's a spell. Activate Factory. Play the other Factory. Attack. Buff. I could have played around Force Spike by doing this in a different sequence. I guess I could have played around Mana Leak and Force Spike if I just played Lavamancer first. Oh wow, they had to foil that? Brutal. Alright, I suddenly feel really good about this game. Unless I get comboed out, suddenly turn the corner and doomsday me somehow. All right, Tog is... They can +5 the Tog right now. We're doing this again, huh? Okay. How do I get 10 damage in? If I activate both factories and attack, I'm guaranteed 3 damage. And then I have 3 sitting on the board. But I lose a factory, but they lose some ability to buff Tog. If I attack with 1 factory and Mog Fanatic, then I can still play Grim Lavamancer, and I can cost them 2 Tog buffs, but it does also cost me a factory. All right, I'm going to pass priority, because I don't have to do anything yet. There's the Exile. I'll give my Assembly Worker +1/+1. Buff the Tog again. Okay, if I get Seal of Fire involved, it will cost them the card in their hand. Would I rather have them Hellbent or them at 7 life? I think I want their hand empty. Okay, exiled some cards from the graveyard. Still only 5. Discarded Island. Okay. So they have a 1/2 Tog now. That can be 2/3 once. I could also just clear their graveyard with Mog Fanatic. I think that's worth doing. I'm going to the mat on this one. And now Lavamancer plus Factory just locks their hand for the rest of the game. They need something like Gush that's worth multiple cards to get ahead of this. All right, activate Factory. Attack. They have to take this damage because 1 card doesn't do much. I think I should play out the land. Their are things that I would like to do. Like if I draw one of my 3-drops or one of my 2s, that's all a reason to not bluff that I have a land in my hand. I guess this deck doesn't draw cards, though, my deck, so I can just play that land on a turn where it would be important to do so. Maybe I did that wrong. There's a land I like. Fire up Factory. Yeah, this Factory backup plan is pretty nice. You have to block. Pass priority. What is the best sequence here? Okay, if I'm losing my Factory regardless, should I Lavamancer now? All right, I'm going to buff my Factory. And they can't save Tog here. They have to decide if 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. Tog's dead. And they discarded another Tog to save this one. We got a, those factories are so strong in this matchup in the chat. Yeah, they sure have been. The old factory burn deck. It's not my deck, but I certainly love making a deck grindier. Cool. Yeah, I mean, those factories were insane. Well, we've done this recently. I'm going to board out a shock for the 4th factory and call it a day. I really thought my years of doing Psychotog math were over, but thanks a lot, Premodern. Now we got to do this shit again. Okay, I will keep my hand. Got some stuff to do and lands to do it, including the Clutch Mistress Factory, which makes Fire Blast uncastable, but that's okay. I only have 2 of them in my hand. All right, Force Spike and Hydroblast are alive. Do I want to just play Fnatic? And I'd rather have Grim Lavamancer in play, but Fnatic plays around more. They opt. And they were on a Multi 6. Opt went to the top. They topped the opt. Blue. Factory, baby. And I would rather cast 2 spells this turn than have a factory. That one's kind of a beating. Though, if you're going to counter a spell, it's not going to be the best one in my hand. I'll just keep chipping out these Mog Fanatics. Impulse, Big Digs. I guess that's a level of this matchup I had not considered, where if I play Grim Lavamancer and they counter it, that is mana that they don't have for impulsing and opting. So maybe I'm just supposed to risk hobbling them, risk getting my stuff countered in exchange for them not having what they want. And that's an aspect of control that's not thought about a lot. Generally, people think of control or there's like control decks, removal spells, counter spells, but you can control what your opponent can do on a turn based on how you pressure their mana. And like Grim Lavamancer trying to bait counterspell to hinder them on an impulse or opt would be a way that this hand in this deck could control what my opponent's able to do. Drawing that mountain's sick. Because now I can fire up my boy. I don't think I need to worry about blue killing my creatures in combat. No Snapcaster Mage in this format. Alright, I do have a Grim Lavamancer. Do you have a counterspell? Blue Blast. Okay, great. Opponent's at 15. They spent last turn sculpting. Okay, here we go. Gush. One of those power level outliers in the format. Ooh, alright. I got meta-meta'd. Zabo's Web coming in against Burn because this bird deck has factories. Clever stuff. Though I am approaching double Fire Blast. It's almost there. And my opponent does know all the cards in my hand. They're at 11 on the board. They know about Shock and Fire Blast. Every turn they don't put something in front of these Fanatics, they die a little more. There he is. Okay, I might have to slow my roll a little bit here. I think I do want to Shock the Dome here. Okay, well, double Fire Blast is now threatening activation. 8, 9, 10. I'm 1 short. Or no, I'm not. Do I just win here? I think so. Yeah, I get to attack for 1. And they would need foil, which is a card they have. But good news, I'm only just completely dead. We got the GGs in the chat. They're not even bluffing the foil. I appreciate that, because I am going to go for it. Bang ya. Bang ya. This would be a sick bluff GGs, like if they have the foil on the second Fire Blast. Alright, cool. Found the line. 2-0 versus Psychotog. Let's do it. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw in the third round. I got a pup start. Ooh, my opponent also has a pup start. Their pup doesn't hurt them. Magic as Garfield intended. I was so excited I forgot to play my fetch land, which was the correct thing to do. Pass the turn. Got some white weenie. Okay, there's more than one color over there. The fun thing about Jackal Pup is that it's so bad at blocking that it's not really worth thinking about blocking with it. In here, it would be a trade, so it's actually worth thinking about how many times do I want to take 2 damage from Savannah Lion. All right, here I'm going to incinerate the Patrol Hound, as that thing getting first strike doesn't work for me. And I do want to push the damage. I could have attacked, let them block. If they trade, we trade. If they discard a card, I incinerate afterwards and I'm up a card, but I haven't pushed 2 damage. There's actually a lot of texture to this combat. It's pretty cool. Mongrel. All right, well, that one's really big. Tireless Tribe. It's going to be hard to get through that one. Now I wish I had traded with the Savannah Lions on turn 1. Lavamancer, that's helpful. Okay, Lavamancer can do stuff. I am going to hold up. I have to play Control Burn now. Like, my job is to stabilize against their creatures and then stick this Rift on a turn where I have more life than them or I can access more life than them. Everybody's in. I'll block the Lions with the pup. I take 2 regardless, but at least I don't continue to take 2 forever. I'm at 10. Fetch puts me to 9. Call the herd. Well, that's really big. Okay, thinking, is there a way I can flip this script and go upstairs for what I need to go upstairs for? I get them to 15, resolve Sulfuric Vortex, then they're at 13. They attack me for 3, 4. I have to block, get them to 11, Rift. Yeah, this sounds really bad. All right, I'm going to bolt this elephant. I don't think we're going to get there. It's fun navigating one creature that's temporarily larger than my creatures, but this many creatures that are all bigger than mine is messed up. How about you settle down? I think I should actually go after the Wild Mongrel now, because if they're going to buff it to save it, like, let's buff it on your turn where it doesn't hurt me as much. Okay, now we actually have a thought to think. Opponent can attack me for 3, 4, 5 next turn. If I Rift, I'm dead. Okay. If I'm willing to chump block, I don't have to be dead. I don't think I'm willing to chump block, though. I think this Rift still is best served as a surprise down the road. Yeah, funny enough, I think if I had taken that block on Savannah Lions all the way back on turn 1, I would actually have a reasonable burn control strategy I could execute here. But I didn't recognize this deck. This is a don't know a lot about Premodern moment. Another Mongrel. That makes blocking really hard. Okay. 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know what it would take to survive that combat anymore. And I could kill a Mongrel with Lightning Bolt right now and kill the other one with Lavamancers. That might be what I have to do. Okay. Lavamance this Mongrel. Discard a Patrol Hound to save it. Okay. That takes 2. Bolt this Mongrel. Deal 2 to this one. And now I have to navigate a Tireless Tribe, and there is a Call of the Herd in the graveyard. They basically don't have bad draws right now, because any like a land gets them a 3/3, and anything that's not a land is probably a spell. Okay. Jackal Pup. Is it party time? What does party time look like? I think party time is play Pup. Well, I can't play Vortex if I play... I can't play Rift if I play Vortex. That's just off. I think I'm going to go Pup plus Rift plus attack with a Grim Lavamancers. I lose to a removal spell here, but I have to get a little wild. This Sulfuric Vortex with me at 1, obviously dangerous. Okay, Basking Root Wall. All right, I'm just dead. Got me. Yeah, the Sulfuric Vortex, I can't just sit and play, but if I could get them under 2, I could get one shot with it. Alright, my opponent has bigger creatures than me. The Vortex seems a little risky, but I don't want to board them all out because it is really good. If I do get ahead and stay there. Price of Progress. This deck feels like it would have creature lands in it, but if it doesn't, then I haven't done anything. I think I'm actually going to change nothing. In Tormod's Crypt can hit the second half of a Call of the Herd. They could have Arrogant Worms. We saw Basking Rootwalla, but those things don't hit the graveyard. That's not how Madness works. Yeah, I think I'm just going to play my main deck again, and now with better decision-making ability, because I understand the matchup a little better. I'm also going first, which matters a lot. Okay, here we go. Turn 1, Pup. Again, forgot to fetch. I get so excited by turn 1 Jackal Pup that I just forget to do anything else. Rootwalla. I believe it is worth it to delete this Rootwalla immediately and start pushing damage with Pup. Okay, opponent's at 17. Tireless Tribe. Yeah, I'm probably not getting through that one. Factory setup here. And now we're into the burns. I guess I could trade Jackal Pup off for 1 life and a card in their hand. But if that card is a good one, that sucks for me. Mongrel. I think I want to cost them 2 cards to incinerate the Mongrel in the end step. I still have some hope or belief that I can get somewhere on this board. Rootwalla. That's +1. They need another one. Wow. All right. We got the tripped Mongrel hand. That's really good against my single Jackal Pup hand. Okay. Seal of Fire. That can interact with some of these dopes. It is impressive how quickly these green decks can just make half of my cards completely irrelevant. Where the blue decks navigating their counterspells and removal is kind of fun and rewarding. These green decks are just like, yeah, my shit's bigger than yours, good luck. Okay, they can make this 5. I could deal 5 to it. All right, I will get Mishra's Factory involved. Block. Target assembly worker gets +1/+1. Discarding Arrogant Worm. Gross. Yeah, trying to find spots where if they're going to discard cards, it's going to cost them some value. Has not been successful for me because they had 3 Rootwallas. It makes it really hard to do anything. Another Pup. All right. Can't imagine winning this game. I don't know what it would take. All right, I'll double block Arrogant Worm. Is that even right? I could just take for 5, 6, 7. I could take 7, push back for 4. All right, I think racing. I think if I start blocking, I start losing, so I'm off it. And if they buff a Rootwalla, I'll kill it. How do they still have 3 cards in their hand? I feel like they've done 5 things on every turn of this game. Okay, I have 7 points in my hand. They're at 13. I think after last turn, they'll probably slow down on these attacks. Yeah, at least leave Tireless Tribe back. Oh god, this looks like an Arrogant Worm to me. Suspiciously didn't do anything with 3 mana. How does this damage race look? If I assume their hand is nothing, which is baseline, and then I'll start thinking about things they do have. I can push 2 damage through here, put them to 11, but I take 1. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm just dead on the backswing there. Jackal Pup is so bad at blocking. My opponent flexing on me with actual Savannah Lions. Yep, there it is. The worm. I could Fire Blast a worm. It's just, is that game remotely winnable if I spend my biggest burst on just one of their 2 4/4s? All right, I'm good. I'm good. There's something satisfying about kicking Psychotog's rows of teeth in for 2 rounds and then losing to fucking Wild Mongrel and Savannah Lions. Feels good. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Receivables has it at youtube.com/thereceivables. I'm on the play in round 4, the perfect 2-land pup and burn hand. Opponent's got a 61 card deck. I don't know what that means in Premodern. I don't know if that's information or if they just love all these old cards so much that they put an extra one in the deck. Crows and Verge. That's going to take a while to heat up. I'm going to attack, and I think I want to Rift here. Does Rifting matter compared to holding up Incinerate? I guess holding up Incinerate could clear a blocker, and if I'm mapping out the next several turns, I'm going to cast one of these 2-mana spells this turn, then Vortex next turn, and then the turn after that, play whichever 2-mana spell I didn't play this turn, plus Bolt. I guess Rift would be a bigger surprise at that point. Though alternatively, if my opponent doesn't have a 2-mana creature I need to clear, but does have a 3-mana creature I'd like to clear, then it's better to Rift now and save Incinerate for the option later. Yeah, I think I'm going to Rift now. Yeah, I talked myself into Rifting. Bang. Island, Crows and Verge. I don't actually know what this deck is, but I'm excited about it. I see Bant, I smile. Okay, they could Mana Leak me here, or they could deal with Sulfuric Vortex for the rest of their life. They've chosen to deal with Sulfuric Vortex for the rest of their life. They can now activate Crows and Verge. It's been 84 years. Opponent's at 8. I have 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay, the second Vortex kills slower than this one. And now I can just smoke their shit. Nice how that works. The perfect curve, exactly the right number of lands drawn. Magic is great. Cool. Okay, I know that they have basic lands of at least 3 different colors in their deck. And with that information, what do? Do I board? The only thing I would do is board in the 4th factory, because it rules. Like, do I just cut Shock for Factory in the dark here? My opponent is a slow deck with at least 3 colors. Nope. Same deck, let's run it. Maybe they'll show me what their deck does this game. But I hope not. I hope they just die again. I am going to keep this hand, though I'm a little nervous about how it's all spells and no steady sources of damage. There's that Crows and Verge. Jackal Pup off the top. Shock off the top. Alright, well, I'm flinging spells here. I have 10 damage in my hand. Oh no. Is this card beatable? My Mistress Factories, that's how I do it. Okay. I guess I should have boarded in Factory. Deck, please. I have enough. Alright, I'm gonna Seal of Fire and Lightning Bolt them both right now while they don't have mana. Okay, here we go. My hand is bad and they have a turn 2 Circle of Protection red. I don't talk to cops. Get out of here. Seal of Fire. If they crack this Crows and Verge in the end step, I can hit them for another 4. But then what? Then they just have mana up forever? Alright, did not crack the Verge. Well, it's possible I learned more about their deck this game. Up. Right on time. They're going to get away with the Verge this turn for sure. Unless they're worried about double Fire Blast from hand. Yeah, if they're just playing super careful. And there's not a lot that can go wrong if you have 4 or 5 mana up. And a Circle of Protection. Alright, well now I do have Fire Blast. But they also have 5 mana. Alright, you've been protected from my pup. Okay, right now, I could try to do some damage. I'll Seal of Fire you. We can play chicken around this Fire Blast. Okay. They did not spend mana on those 4 damage because they're worried about these 4 damage. Jackal Pup out here functioning as Rashadan Port. They have to tap a land every turn. Another pup, another Rashadan Port. Renewed Faith, holy mo. It's just a card you have. Oh, this is probably Astral Slide then. Decks wouldn't just play Renewed Faith, right? The colors are right, the pieces are there. Okay. This matchup might be terrible. But I'm going to play it out. I'm going to make them show me something. That's good enough. Alright, I'm good. I'm good. Nope. I've seen enough. Alright. Big ass control deck. I have 6 ways to kill an artifact and no way to kill an enchantment. That is classic Magic the Gathering. Factory looking pretty important here. Just something that can push any damage through a Circle of Protection. Price of Progress. We saw Crows and Verge and Yavimaya Coast. We also saw a lot of basics. All right, I think I'm going to just try to keep it light here and do this. I could cut some more shocks for some price of progresses and hope that that works. Ugh. I think I need to mulligan to a hand with steady damage. Okay. I'll at least take Mog Fanatic. And I'll put Seal of Fire to the bottom. Opponent also mulligan to 6. Fanatic. Let's go. A Plains. Another Vortex. Okay, I'm actually not going to crack this Bloodstain Mire because I actively want to draw land. Warmth. All right, well, I'll bolt you in response. I got a lot of hate over there. Some would say the appropriate amount. Right, land, please. Okay. I will at least wash out this Warmth. I cast Vortex, they gain 2 life. Then they can't gain life anymore, and then they lose 2 life every turn. Just hope no cops show up to spoil my party. Dust Bowl. Sabo's Web. Okay. They have played around the factories that I don't currently have. And they just locked their own Dust Bowl out. That can't be good. This is reading like someone who was really counting on Warmth to do the job. And my hand is pretty good against Warmth. Here we go. Slurp it up. Take that damage. Found another Plains. I am taking damage as well, but they're taking it a lot faster than me. Well, enough faster than me. A lot faster is probably not true, but I know about... They're actually taking it 1 point faster than me, but I know about the 2 Fire Blasts in my hand, and they don't. Cycling Decree of Justice for no soldiers. This is just draw a card. I can actually kill them in their upkeep, but I don't have to. They're in the spot where if they do anything, I'll just kill them in response, and if they don't do anything, they'll just die. Which is the spot that I basically always want my opponents in. Swords to Plowshare as well. I can't gain life. And then Scoop. Alright, cool. We had the counter to this particular one. If this was Circle of Protection Red, that would have been a lot harder, and I would have been dying to my Vortexes much faster. But it was this one instead. We did it. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in the final round. Positive Records luck, playing for the bread and butter 401. Looking at this hand fires every neuron in my brain, but I do have to mull it. I think once per league I should be allowed to cheat and put 2 lands on top of my deck. But since we don't live in that world, I'm going to mulligan. Alright. This one, the double Fire Blast 3-drop is not super thrilling. I don't want to go to 5 either, though. I'm going to bottom 1 of the Fire Blast. I just don't think I'm going to have 4 mountains in play this game. Though I would like to have 3 mountains in play at some point. Oh, alright. Control Burn it is. Get rid of that guy. Okay. Goblins, as far as decks where I have 1 land that casts 4 removal spells go, this is not a bad place to be. Pile Driver, whatever. Mog Fanatic. I'm something of a goblin myself. I'm going to run out Seal of Fire. Just float it out there. This can take out a War Chief pre-combat. It does let them know it's coming, but this is one of those spots where I don't actually want to kill Pile Driver, and I don't want to go off turn without spending mana, so floating this out here is actually pretty nice. Matron. Ringleader. This would be a great time to start catching up. Oh no. I guess I'll play out the Fanatic. Alright, don't have the 4th land, please. Okay, yeah, playing Control doesn't really work if your opponent is outdrawing you and casting more spells than you on every turn. Alright, a bunch of lands at the bottom. Siege Gang Commander to hand. I've heard that one's good. Okay, I'm going to kill Am I going to kill Pile Driver? I think what I'm going to do is block Pile Driver, kill Matron, and kill Ringleader. That makes Pile Driver little for a while. A 2nd land. Bad news, though, is that still doesn't solve my problems. 5th land, easy money. Green Splash revealed. Alright, so I guess what I have to do this game is navigate all this shit they're doing, somehow whittle them back down to nothing. I also should have bolted this Pile Driver because I knew I was going to do it because I can't afford to let Pile Driver be in play with all these Goblin tokens. And I just took 1 damage for no reason. So that was actually a miss. What do I even have that can do this? It has to be like Grim Lavamancer and then get super lucky. Or, I mean, I'm taking 5 a turn to my opponent taking 2 a turn. But if I draw the correct sequence of burn spells, maybe I could flip the race. I don't like this. I especially don't like that I took 1 extra damage last turn for no reason, now that this is my plan. And they're a deck full of haste creatures. Right, I'm at 14. It'll be 12 in my upkeep. Can we stop having bangers? Maybe one time not have a banger. Oh, that's among the bangiest. Oh, God. And Matron. We're seeing another Ringleader here. Is it time for War Chief to unload the hand? Ringleader, okay. I've been out mono-redded. I give up. All right, Goblins, that's fun. Yeah, I don't know that I trust in Vortex. I like Factory as another threat and another blocker. But in general, I think the game plan that I was just on there is a solid one. They have Rashadan Ports and dual lands. I think I'd rather have Pop than Rift. Though they can play in a way where Pop does nothing, and Rift will always do something. But Rift might kill me, where Pop never will. There's probably some advanced sequence where you can figure out exactly what the correct split is. I'm going to go 2 and 2 because I don't know. But yeah, the plan I was on, like, that game, my opponent wasn't really doing anything until like turn 4 or 5. The problem is I didn't do anything at any point along that line. I am actually going to keep this. Just 4 1-mana spells, 2 of them push damage, 2 of them kill lackeys. Pop plus Fire Blast is one of those end games where I can suddenly 8 or 10 an opponent who's not ready, even off of 2 lands. Even if I have 2 lands and they're Rashadan Porting me in the upkeep, I could still just roast their head. Fanatic is in. Second Fanatic, let's go. I'm pushing damage this game, which I was not able to do last game. I wonder if Goblins boards out Lackey in this matchup, because they just have so many answers to it. There's no way it's getting through. And you could just play something bigger. Just board in some Pyroclasms or something, become control Goblins, go the other way. Pile Driver off of Basic Forest. But they're playing around Price of Progress, but hopefully that ends up at the cost of being able to actually cast the cards they want to cast. Finding my second mountain is huge. That unlocks the Fire Blast. Wasteland. Wasteland can target itself if they just want to delete it. Like if I rip off Price of Progress and they don't want to take 2, they could Wasteland their Wasteland. No plays. Gem Palm Incinerator currently cycles for 0. I don't have to think about that. When it's at 13. Something's happening in the end step. Naturalize my Seal of Fire. All right, well. Take 2. I could Price of Progress now for a guaranteed 2 damage. I don't think I'm there yet, because they are going to try to get into this phase of the game where they're casting Ringleaders and stuff, and here they've invested a second non-basic land. Patience rewarded. Ringleader is here. I have 4/8. They're literally dead. All right, so they're dead. End step, fetch, bolt you, pop you. So here this is the same damage to them as Flame Rift, but at instant speed, and I didn't have to take any damage. Bolt you. Not even going to show them the Fire Blast. That's my little secret. Okay, I think I've convinced myself on Price of Progress. Yeah, seeing the ports, the wastelands that can only target their own lands, because oh, nope, that's not true. I factory shit. All right. Wasteland does actually have some use. That I'll have to think about them when I sequence my land drops. Uh-oh, here I am with the big pile of factories. It's fine. I am going to keep this hand, even though Sulfuric Vortex is a card I am suspicious of in the matchup. Opponent kept 7. Did not have a 1-drop. Yeah, I don't need to invest these factories out. Upkeep fetch, so they're not interested in drawing lands. Pile driver. You can drive this pile. How about that? A factory and Lavamancer. It's a target for Wasteland, but I have enough lands that I don't mind that happening. It's also a attacker and blocker. We've seen Naturalize in their deck. That's something to be aware of if I fire up a factory. All right, I am gonna attack with Grim Lavamancer and then play Vortex. I feel like they're sitting on Naturalize, and let's flush it out in a way that at least deals 1 damage to them, rather than letting them get an instant speed sinkhole for free. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that happened as predicted. Wasteland, you want that factory, or are you going to chill for a minute? I would kind of prefer that they waste rather than just rip off a ringleader. Cool. That did happen. Fire Blast. Now we're cooking. Another factory. I'm going to go for the Vortex again. I can cast my entire hand at will. Vortex is the one card that requires some finesse here. I have 4 mana unlocked. Is it ringleader time? What's going on? Pile Driver. And Incinerator. Okay. Snuck that one in to clear my Lavamancer. Fair enough. I accept. Mod Fanatic. I think I'm going to attack for 2 and then play Seal of Fire. This pushes damage, spends my mana, and it'll stop Pile Driver from pile driving me if they suddenly come up with a haste creature. Pile Driver attacking for 1 I don't care about. A land. What does land do? Right, opponent's going to be at 8 in their upkeep. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a lot of damage. I think I'm just going to run out Fanatic and pass and kill them on their turn. Or kill them slowly. Again, they're in the position that my opponent was last round, where if they do anything, I can kill them in response, and if they don't do anything, they'll just die slowly over time. Right, I'm going to block and shoot them with Fanatic. They're at 7. Incinerate you. Okay, just scoop. Writing's on the wall. Sweet. 4-1 with burn, red deck wins, whatever we're calling it in this format. Mono red. Yeah, when Peter messaged me about this deck, he said he was really impressed by the decision making and what you have to do with this deck, how it's not, the air quotes brainless burn deck. You actually do have to navigate, like, am I killing this pile driver or am I dealing 2 damage to my opponent's face? And the size of the pile driver matters. With these mutual effects like Sulfuric Vortex and Flame Rift, you actually have to think about your life total as well. That first round against, like, Tog, where they resolved Tog, and I was doing math like, oh, I'm fine, but I was actually at 14 from my own spells, and not 20. That actually made the game more tense. That was pretty cool. And it didn't play against any Dreadnought or Tinker decks, which made this 6 artifact, like 6 shatter sideboard, look kind of whack. I didn't play against the graveyard stuff either, which made the Tormod script look pretty whack. Like, I only boarded in Mishra's Factory and Price and Progress in the entire league. But I'm not saying that's wrong. I also went 4-1 while only sideboarding in one of my cards for 4 of the matches. So maybe this is exactly where it needs to go, and I just didn't queue into any of the really tough matchups. This deck is sweet. Premodern remains a lot of fun for me to play, and the deck just looks beautiful. Peter, thanks for sharing this. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.